Alright, what is going on everybody, it's Liam here, and today's video I have a commentary for y'all, and I'm going to be helping you guys build a deck in today's video. Now, I've made videos like this in the past, previously, going in depth on how to build a deck and kind of how the cycling system works, obviously, but I figured I would make another one, because I get asked quite a bit in my chat, in the comments, how do I build a deck? Liam, can you help me build a deck? What deck do you use? Yada yada, stuff like that. So today's video is dedicated to you guys to try and help you out with that and explain kind of how the system works a bit better. Before we get into that, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 2k subs right now, and let's see if we can crack like 40 likes on today's video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to cover right away, which you might not expect, is actually the item cards you get. So now obviously these are your wanteds. This could be a bubble pet as well. This could be Mandar, right? This could be your 2 6-round reliquaries, right? So keep in mind statistically how this would work, right? You have very few item cards, and the smaller your deck is, the smaller the rows, the more often you'll pull these cards. For example, right, if I have a full deck, maxed out rows, and only one reliquary in from this item card, am I likely to get that reliquary anytime soon? No, probably not unless I get lucky. So a way to increase your odds of pulling for stuff is to simply just make your deck smaller. And this is why you'll find a good 95% of the time that I personally don't make a deck over, I don't know, about 5-6 rows max typically is what I go for in main deck, because anything after that is kinda just, you're asking for RNG to screw you over, right? Can you run a main deck or run a full deck and do well? Absolutely, right? You have a ton of players that run a full deck and do just fine, and good for you. But for the sake of simplicity in this video, and statistically speaking as well, it's better to have a small deck to pull and cycle for what you need easier. You'll get the card you're looking for easier if you cycle, smart, obviously, and statistically, you'll just get it easier as well. And that plays into the item card factor as well. If I only have 2 Mandars, again, it's going to be a lot harder to find one of those 2 in a full deck. But, when I did the Mandar strat back in the day, that's why I only kept it about 3 or 4 rows, so I could easily pull these item cards, right? So that's just kind of an example. I'm going to start off with the start of the video. And this goes into bubbles as well. I hear a lot of players complaining, oh, I'm not pulling my 2-pip bubbles. But a lot of the time, these players are running full decks. Again, I'm not hating or anything, you do you. And again, you can only pack 4 2-pip bubbles right now in the current meta. So yes, if you have a full, 64 card copy, and only 4 of those are bubbles, yeah, you're probably getting unlucky, but you're maximizing the amount of odds to go wrong. I don't know if that made any sense, right? Made any sense, really. The bigger your deck is, the more cards you have in, the more variables you have to play in, and the more things you're asking to go wrong, basically, is kind of my point here. I know I hear a lot of complaints about people, not playing their bubbles, and again, it's unlucky, but you can run a smaller deck to make up for that, right? On my Storm and my Fire, I always run about 4 or 5 rows, sometimes with a bubble pet as well if I don't feel I pull it that often, like on my Myth personally. On my Myth, I need the extra bubble pet, I feel like, because I have to run a bit bigger of a deck, because I'm a bit more utility based with my Betrayal, my Delusion, my D-Shift, my Talos, right? I feel like I need that extra bubble copy to help me cycle, because I have to pack like at least, 6 more cards than I would on a Fire or a Storm, right? So this extra bubble copy allows me to pull it a little bit easier, right? That's kind of what you can do. That's something you can do about it, and to increase your odds of pulling stuff. So yeah, I hope that part wasn't too long, but I just wanted to explain to you guys basically why I run smaller decks, and how it kind of works in the Wizard101 RNG game. No matter how small you make your deck though, you can get whizzed, you can get very unlucky. Whether it's a full deck or a small deck, it is an RNG game. at the end of the day. But you as a player, all you can really do is make your deck smaller and more optimal, and that's really all I have to say here. Next thing I have up is what kind of strategy and what kind of player are you? So for example, me, I changed my deck up quite a bit. I have my sweaty decks where I play for rank. Don't do that very much right now, to be honest with you, but I'll have a sweaty deck, I'll have a fun deck, I'll have a Mandar deck, right? There's a lot of stuff that can go into it. I might have a healing deck on a life, I might have a glass cannon deck, right? There's a lot of stuff, so you have to ask yourself, okay, what kind of player am I? Do I like to heal? Do I like to play defensive? Do I like to trap stack on a fire? Do I like to overtime on a fire, right? Am I going for Mandar? Am I going for a minion strat? First of all, you need to lay the ground on... Does that even make any sense? You need to... you need to know what you're going for, basically, is what I'm saying here. So, for example, right, for a sweaty myth deck here, I will clear out my deck and I will make one with y'all real quick. Now keep in mind, I'm not really looking at anything. I think I've posted my myth deck in my server, but I'm not really going to pull that up right now. I'm just going to do this for the sake of the video. So, sweating, I'm not going to want sap health. I'm not going to want Mandar with regular myth. I can keep these item cards because they are pretty good. I'm gonna want max stun blocks, obviously. Actually, I probably shouldn't say obviously. A lot of players are kind of confused as to why I do this, and a couple of other people do this. Reason being, round 1, you always want to have a good move in your main deck so you can cycle, and stun block is just always a good move, right? It's one of those cards that are, really good. Never bad to do, really, for the most part, right? And the thing is, if you get stun blocks in the future, you can use that card okay, so let's say I stun block in round 1, and then on round 2, I get 2 more stun blocks. Those 2 stun blocks, obviously, I'm going to cycle them out. I don't need them anymore for the most part, unless I get a chain stunner, right? So, those 2 stun blocks allow you to pick how you want to cycle your deck, right? Do I draw on this turn, or do I do something else in my hand to cycle the main deck more for what I need, right? Packing max blocks is a really, really easy way to help you cycle your deck, in my experience, and I'd really, really recommend it. Pretty much no matter what your deck size is, unless you're running about 4 rows, then I'd probably knock that down to 5, personally, but full deck people, and, people anywhere, again, above 4 rows, I would recommend having 6. Now, y'all know me, I don't like set shields, I just don't like the design behind them personally. You're going to want a couple of blade counters, a weakness counter for Grim Reader, because death is really good right now in the minion. Probably a couple of Gala minions as well. These can help you out with trap stack fire, or any trap stack strats in general, or simply help you gain a pip against balanced wizards. So we'll put about 2 of those in. Blades, I prefer those in side deck, although they can be pretty good in main deck. Couple of stuns, doesn't really hurt anybody. Obviously, max bubbles, right? I don't have my troll spellamented, but you could put some of those in main deck if you want. That being said, though, you can craft the TC at the vendor in the arena if you'd like to. Now, personally, me here for the shield counters, I'm not a big fan of Jin's defense. I just really don't like the card in general. That's my personal opinion on it. I'm not attacking anybody's opinion. I'm just saying how it is on the channel. I prefer Betrayal because I'm a very aggressive player, and I like to apply pressure to my opponents, and that's what I like, so I like to pack about 4 of those. And especially right now, with the shield gambits being the best in the meta, I'd rather pull it and, either cycle it out than not get it at all, right? So I think 4 is a pretty good number. Shift, again, you're going to want about 2 or 3 of these. Very, very good guard for a Myth Wizard. Golem, not bad. Helps you out quite a bit with lives and death as well. Death and life is pretty tough to deal with on a myth because death is pretty OP. And life is also one of the best schools right now in the current meta. Hidden bubbles, you could pack max of these, but again, if I run 6 of these in like a 4 or 5 row deck, I'm kind of just going to mess up my cycling in general. So personally, I think 4 hidden bubbles and about anything below a 6 row deck, in my experience, is very, very good. Athena, you know, crazy good card. I'd really recommend packing a lot of these, to be honest with you. But personally, me, I know y'all know me on the channel. I mean, you might not, you might be new, but I personally don't like to sweat a lot and spam the same move over and over. So personally, for the sake of my morality and my standards, I like to limit myself to one Athena a game. You know, only using like one burn or one Lumi or one Athena or something. One or two, because I don't want to feel like I just spam the same card over and over to victory. To me, that's not a very fun way to win, personally. So I only like to pack one of those. D-Shift, you're going to want about one or two of these, again, for Trap Stack Weirdos or Trap Stack Fire. King Artorias, you can pack this if you want, but it's honestly not that good in my opinion. It's kind of up to you if you want to have fun or not. Jin, I think having two of these is a fantastic idea. No pun intended. Snake Charmer, pretty good. 4-pip for a Myth Wizard. Obviously, I'd recommend about two of those. Mystic is pretty good. I'm honestly not sure right now, though. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't know. It's a good card, and I'll do it for a video, but I'm still kind of hesitant as if I want to start running that card or not. Obviously, you're going to want a couple of shads. Nothing too excessive, though, obviously. And yeah, for the sake of the speed of this video, I decided to actually speed up it a little bit, and this is the deck I decided to make in the video. So it is actually a bit bigger than I'd like to have on a myth, ideally. But yeah, I feel like this could work pretty well. Obviously, I don't have a Medusa here. That's something you want to put in the side. You're going to want to know what hits to put in main and what hits to put inside. So a couple of examples of this is Medusa, right? It simply just does more damage, and you put that in side deck and its utility. So you can separate your side and your main deck for, you know, how you want to have it, right? Personally, me, I have most of my 0-pip moves in side deck. Like, I don't know, power, blade, shields, weaknesses, and power. Then I have a very few select amount of hits in side deck that I can cycle and aggressively pull for. Then the main deck is typically stuff that costs pips that I either need or I don't need, so I can cycle out, like a stun block or a wall against a trap stack fire. Don't really need that. I can cycle that out, right? Obviously, so yeah, that's one deck we made on today's video. Now let's hop onto a different wizard. So yeah, we've talked about how item cards work and what kind of strategy you are going for. I'm gonna hop on my Storm next because that's my, you know, one of my more popular characters. I know a lot of people are curious about, you know, how I play my Storm and stuff like that. One thing I do want to bring up though, on this Storm Wizard right now is a lot of people are kind of divided between Supreme and Merciless Wand. I thought I would offer my 2 cents on this in today's video. So, objectively speaking, shads right now just aren't that great, right? So Merciless will be your best friend, right? That will be better until they fix shad rating in the future, or make better a better wand than Supreme really in the future. But the one thing Supreme gives is an extra wand hit. Now you're probably like, Liam, it's only one extra wand hit. But here's the thing, right? Here's the trick. Here's the knowledge I'm about to put on you guys. Ready? Yes, it's only one extra wand hit, but remember when I was talking to y'all about the item card copy and the size of your deck, right? This is very important, right? Now, personally, me on my Storm, I run about a 4-row deck. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and make it here for you guys for the sake of the video. Okay, so yeah, keep in mind, this is what works for me and how I play the game. There's no right or wrong way to do that. This is what I run on my Storm right now. Currently, again, I don't run really any set shields because I think it's kind of toxic with how the game works at the moment. Yeah, obviously, I have the Merciless Wand, which is 4 wand hits. Now, personally, I've ran Merciless for a while now, and I've run a smaller deck for a while, and I found that 4 wand hits with a deck this size is just the right number to pull it on time and not pull it too often. Not to pull multiple wand hits too often, sorry, is what I mean. I've kind of found this sweet spot of deck size and, you know, pulling item card synergy on my Storm right now. However, if I had a bigger deck, right, then I might want to swap over to the Supreme, right? If I have a full deck now, my odds of pulling this stuff is going to go down, especially the wand hits, and especially wand hits on a Storm Wizard. That can be very, very important, right? You need that as like a minion killer and keeping tempo up and stuff like that. So if I swap over to the Supreme Wand here, I actually gain an extra wand hit, so that could enable me to make my deck a bit bigger to factor in for that extra wand hit, right? So I'll pull wand hits easier with, obviously, an extra copy in a bigger deck. However, a big red flag with this, though, I must bring up is, obviously, if I have a smaller deck with this extra wand hit, I might be pulling the wand hit a bit too often. And that's what I've noticed when I've been running Supreme Wand with my personal deck build on the Storm. I feel like I pull the wand hits a little bit too often for my liking. You know, I pull a wand, but I'm looking for a bubble maybe. I don't want that wand, right? So I gotta discard it, but wands are pretty valuable, right? So, again, the point here is just you have to be smart on, you know, if you want Supreme or Merciless for your deck size, right? And look at the circumstances, and just really trying to find a happy medium with deck size and item card synergy. That is my main point I want to bring home here. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. I've talked about the playstyle. I've talked about how item cards work. I've, you know, made a deck with y'all. And, you know, talked about strategies as well and stuff like that. I think that's literally everything, I guess. And we talked about side deck and main deck, right? Same thing on my Storm, right? We have all the utility stuff in the side deck, and we have most of the stuff that costs pips and are obviously our main hits in main deck, like for Solka, Stormwing, Kraken, Jhin, Hidden Bubble, for Shambos, right? Galvanics, stuff like that. And utility is more defensive, more Beetle, couple of big hits if I can really dig for those, right? Stuff like that. So this is what works for me. I know some people like to run, you know, there's all their 0 pip moves in their main deck and stuff like that, and then run all their hits in side deck. That is absolutely fine. Also, I forgot, I'm actually missing a couple of blades here, but you can take blades out of main deck if you want to. Again, personal preference. I recommend trying blades in main, blades inside, improvise with Supreme, Mercy, and your deck size. See what works for you. And the best advice I can really give to anybody is just get in there, test it out, pay attention to what you're discarding, right? So if I have 3 Jhins and I pulled 2 right away, I know I only have 1 more in, right? And if I'm running a full deck, I'm not going to get that last Jhin for a long time unless I get very lucky. So be very conscious of what you're discarding in game, guys, because that can really help you out with what you're going to be predicting to pull next, right? But yeah, I think that's really everything I have to say for you guys. I hope I helped you guys. I hope you learned something new. Again, if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Be sure to sub and like the video. It would help out quite a bit. I will be answering any comments in the comments below if y'all need any help. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.